Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Tuesday morning. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas, and it's going to be just a great Christmas as it is every year for so many of us. But keep in mind, some folks don't have as luck as we do, so if you can help out people, it's just be a great thing to do. Weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. High today 60, actually 68, and low tonight 50. Well, look at this, the water temperature at lowest it's been yet, 67 degrees. That real cooling trend has started finally, way on into September, but it has started. River readings, Apalachicola, Bluntstown, looking at a 6.4 and a slight falling out on it. And at Choctawhatchee at Careville, a 6.7, and about the same reading and the same action. Our river reading brought to us by Watson's Landing, Marina and Dry Storage. And you can see it over there, folks, really a good group of folks over there working hard to make the outdoors a lot more adaptable to us as far as getting our boats out there really fast. So appreciate them. Watson's Landing, Marina, and Dry Storage. Let's take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Good tides. We're talking about the good strong tides the rest of the week. We're looking at a low tide this morning, 5:53. And a high tide at 7:33 tonight. Really good strong on into the a weekend. This weekend is going to be really good. Next weekend is going to be slow, but the Christmas weekend, I hope none of y'all are fishing Christmas, but some of y'all might be. You have good strong tides if you do. All right, the marine forecast northwest at about 5. Now take care of our outdoor weather. Take our break and be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's get started. First of all, I got a text right before we went on the air from yesterday's show. Remember talking about the boat ramps and what we thought is, most of us think that's the wrong thing to do, to charge for boat ramp. Let me read this text real quick. It said, "Hey Winston, in regards to, quote, doing something about it with local politicians, here's what happened with me last week. I called the head of the county commissioners here the other night with concerns about issues where we live. 2 days later, I heard from another source that the commissioner has called me, quote, a loose cannon for expressing my concerns. I had a private conversation with him expecting he would address the problems I reported. Instead, he publicly disclosed the conversation to a third party. Consequently, I don't have any confidence that the boat ramp issues will be addressed any differently. They're going to do whatever they want to do. I truly appreciate your efforts to make a difference and enlighten citizens about what's really going on." Regards, Charlie. Thank you for sending that in, Charlie. And you know what, though? We're going to keep on doing this because of one reason. We're right, and they're wrong. So we're going to keep pushing it. We might get in trouble or whatever, but that's just the way it is. So thank you for expressing that. And just we got to hold these politicians accountable. I talked about that yesterday. Won't go back into it that deep today, but we appreciate the feedback, and we're just going to press on and do what we think's right, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. Let's look at some pictures, okay? Check it out. We've had some good hunting this weekend. Check out this first one. Big old buck here. And this is a Georgia buck, but they hunt up there on a regular basis. Got a lease up there, register family. This is Mark register, and that's 11 point. Good job there, Mark. That's Jerry and Faye's son. Let's look at this. I saw this picture the other day. This is from the space station, astronaut. It shows you, we've seen this picture before in different categories, but it just shows you again the enormous population areas along the east coast of Florida and around the Tampa area, Fort Myers area, and of course you can see the Everglades. All those lights now are the population. And you get on up in our area, and up in the top left-hand middle part there, that I don't know if that's Pensacola or Panama City. You can see Jacksonville come on across from east to west. You can see Tallahassee and come on across. So I'm thinking that's Panama City there. But we'll try to get a better shot at the Panhandle. I just wanted to show it to you. That's a great picture. Okay, next one. I'm going to enlarge this. This is the latest thing on the latest report on the red tide. You can see we still have it. Remember, red is the worst. You still see some, and gold is next to it. So Franklin County looks okay now. Bay County, Guff County, and Bay County hit pretty hard, and some over in the Escambia County. So that just keeps hanging around. It's sort of like some kin folks on vacation. They keep hanging around. Now, listen, the next picture, I just thought this was funny. Why, yes, I am bipolar. Bill Dance there holding 2 different fishing poles. All right. How about little Braden Lashley, son of, this is good, Brad Lashley's boy, his first buck. I know he's happy. His first deer, that's a big doe there. Braden Lashley, good job. Good job, Brad. Madison Steele, you look at that big old smile on her face. This is her first deer. Daughter of Ben and Stacy Steele, but they hunt all the time. They are a good outdoor family. First blood, Madison Steele. Look at that shirt, Panhandle Outdoor shirt. You know that's what brought her good luck there. Good job, Madison. Evan Zackerl on his on a muzzleload hunting. Good job, Evan. All these kids getting some nice bucks here. How about a nice wildlife photograph from Pam Peterson Kelly over there at St. Andrews State Park. Good job, Pam. And that's the pictures. Now next I want to talk about the actual rut dates, the deer rut dates of the area. This is statewide now, and then we're going to zoom in on the Panhandle. What's interesting is if you look at down here in the south, section A, down in South Florida, they've already rutted August, July, and move on up in here. Just look at some of the dates in the next section, July, but September on the East Coast there, October. Look at section B. This is what's fascinating to me. Section B right here in the center, they're more like us. They're January and February, and then wait on in March. That's sort of odd, but I think that's because it's sort of landlocked and it's sort of cool in there. Okay, let's move on up around Gainesville area, November 23rd, October, September, just different dates here. This is a peak rut season right here. Over in Jacksonville, September 25th. So now we're going to work east to west, and we're going to move. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide. And let's go to the next one into the Panhandle. Okay, here we are right here, folks. The Florida Panhandle. And you can see the peak rut season. Sort of look where you're located. February, a lot of February's in here. January. So we're a good ways from it. But now look in the northern part of Calhoun County, right there, December 24th. All right, and working the east to west, there is, okay, February 17th. A lot of February peak dates there. That's the peak rut dates that we've looked for and need to be aware of. I show them every year, and they change a little bit because of the actual research the biologists do, but it's basically the same. Some of this research comes from some of the plantations where they have a controlled environment and they can really tell what's going on. The Apalachicola National Forest is sort of hard to really get a take on it because it's so large and it's really too hard to pick out. But anyway, that's our peak rut seasons. If you want to be hunting that big buck, that's the time you really, really need to concentrate on it. But you got to scout it out ahead of time and know all that ahead of time. Be set up for it, okay? Let's take our break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I have an email here. I'm going to read it. I smile because it sort of reflects the plight of hunters all across America, because sometimes we get too close to each other and it's sort of uncomfortable. And I'm going to read the whole thing. It's rather lengthy, but it's worth the read, and then I'm going to show you the area we're talking about, and maybe, I don't know if I have a solution or not, but it is a problem, and it's a legitimate problem, and it's sort of fascinating to see this happen because it's a recent problem. It has not been a problem for a long time. You know, a lot of times these outdoor conflicts go years and years back, and it's sort of the same problem year after year. This is sort of just developing because of our some social things that's happened as far as popularity of different kind of hunts. Okay, let me get started. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, Winston, I hunt Tyndall Air Force Base for deer. I put in considerable time and effort. Let me say this ahead of time. I've been in both ends of this boat, okay, and I understand where both parties are coming from, and I've done both of them, so I have a unique perspective, and some of y'all will too. I put in considerable time and effort in doing so, which includes scouting postseason, scouting preseason, determining best location, cutting trails for both my approach and for the deer to travel. I spent a lot of time on Tyndall in hopes for a large buck or even a doe to happen my way. However, during the past 2 years, it seems that people have taken an interest in hunting saltwater ducks along its boundaries. I am aware that saltwater divers are not that edible, especially compared to the nice piece of backstrap wrapped in a bacon over the grill. So, As of last year and this year, I patiently await my chance at an opportunity to pull the trigger just one more time and execute the result of all my time in the woods at the shooting range and exorbitant amount of money spent on licenses, clothing, scent control, firearms, and ammunition, only to be ruined by a volley of magnum loads being directed at diver ducks approaching the sloughs, the inlets, and the lagoons along Tyndall's north and south boundaries. You can imagine what the deer do once the aircraft volley starts ensuing for the duck hunters. My buddy and I text each other regarding that issue, and that all deer, we now figure that all deer have headed to the swamps and ceased their early morning and late evening attempts to feed. This goes with years and years of experience and countless hours in the stand over these years of observing the encounters and the harvest ratio. So, as we deer hunters, we know they're going to go back and forth to feed and then back into the sleeping areas and hiding areas. All right, so continue. My quick response to my buddy as we sit and listen to the volleys, maybe we should just hang it up and just go fishing. It just so happens that the places that I fish are these areas that the duck hunters are currently blasting away in. So here's my quandary. They have a fair right to hunt the poorly tasting diver ducks as much as I do to fish the inlets and the bayous and marshes in the same area. Yet, by quietly deer hunting, I am not spoiling their hunts, yet they are spoiling mine. By fishing where I can legally go, I would spoil their hunt. My initial thoughts were to just send you a report that the trouts and reds are tearing it up in these areas. I also wondered if Triple Tail liked to hang out around the decoys. I also think that the same instance regarding squirrel hunters, they have a right to squirrel hunt and they could mess up our area. I would think it almost just a series of respect right in that paragraph. So let me go to the last paragraph. So my question to you is, do you have a solution? My only thought is advice to the diver duck hunters to respect the fact that Tyndall is a narrow stretch of land and there are an abundance of deer hunters attempting their best to make it a harvest of their own. Don't go out every weekend and just blast away near the shorelines, running our hunts every weekend that duck season is open. And I want, they ask to remain anonymous. So I'm going to show you the area we're talking about right here. This area here, this Crooked Island Sound, and this Wild Goose Lagoon. If you're coming in, see Highway 98, the symbol Highway 98. Keep going east there, and that road, that's Research Road, and that's also Davis Beach at the end of that road. Now, what happens, these hunters all along the shoreline, okay, these deer right here, see Wild Goose Lagoon, the deer will stay between the highway and the shoreline. Well, what has happened with the popularity of Duck Dynasty and different TV shows, duck hunting is becoming popular with people who are not necessarily big duck hunters, but they just are enamored with it. So they'll get into all these little sloughs here. The ducks have always been in there. I've seen them myself for years, and I'm a duck hunter. I just never wanted to go in there and hunt. But people are doing it now. Okay, so all the Wild Goose Lagoon, and you can see. I got another slide. I got another slide here. Let me go to the next slide. You can see it here. This is a bigger, wider view of it. I've gone more to the west now, and you can see the spit of land. It's a narrow spit, and now I'm going to zoom back out further. You can see Tyndall Air Force Base. They're even duck hunting up on the northern part there, not too far from runways. They are allowed to do it. Like I say, I've been on both sides of this boat. My first solution was to suggest that maybe they can even alternate weekends, put a sign up at the boat landings and maybe get together. One weekend let the deer hunters go in there, and then the next weekend let the duck hunters go in there. That's just a voluntary solution. It'd be hard to get everybody to cooperate because you always have some knotheads going to just do what they want to do anyway. But I think the real sportsman would see what the problem is. And I can see, I've had decoys out and I've blasted away. You go to Deer Point Lake on open weekend, all the people complain about them, but those duck hunters have a right to be there. Now, the writer is correct on those being bad tasting ducks. Those diving ducks, we've talked about them before, the divers versus the dabblers. The divers are the ones diving in, getting all that little minnows and all kinds of little fish, and that's why their meat sort of tastes fishy, and I don't like a fishy tasting duck. As far as Tyndall now at the boat ramp, they're telling me they're not putting in at a Tyndall boat ramp. They're putting in other places. Therefore, and they're actually not getting on setting land, setting foot on land of Tyndall. They're just putting decoys out. They're still in the water. But again, that is still Tyndall property. So I know if I was in a tree stand, I'd be aggravated too when he's sitting there and all of a sudden boom, 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 boom. And I know if I was down there on that boat and see no ducks coming in, I'd be excited and shooting at them. So I don't really have a solution other than maybe y'all can get together and hopefully I imagine the Tyndall folks going to probably have to step in. Like I say, it hasn't been a problem. The writer said it hasn't been a problem except for the last 2 years, and it's because of just popularity of duck hunting is making a big comeback and all. And the thing about it, the duck season, deer season sort of runs pretty much the same distance. Now we're going to have a little bit longer. That last couple of weeks will be open for the deer hunters, so maybe that would help out. So anyway, I appreciate the feedback, and again, if I was a judge on this one, sitting in there judging, I would ask both parties to just sit down and work out something. And if they're going to work it out, then I would say as a judge, and you got even weekends, or you got odd weekends, and that's the way it's going to be. But that's going to be a volunteer thing. Okay, let's take our break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Glad you're in this the last segment of Panhandle Outdoors. Appreciate the viewership. Let's take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Mark Cowart of Counts Real Estate. We're looking at this morning 9:26 to 11:26. It'll be a beautiful time to be out. And this evening 9:49 to 11:49. Two good blocks there. Now this past Saturday we had that big fundraiser. I'm talking about folks in the Panhandle and especially the folks in Vernon had a big cookout, shrimp boil up there. Having a fundraiser for the Gunners Oyster Bar and had those folks on the show. And by the way, I wanted to play, but I was way down at Cape San Blas, and that's a long way from Vernon. So Saturday morning, I called Brian Revere. I said, Brian, can you save me some plates? And so he said, I'll put some back. Fortunately, it was like 3 o'clock. It was supposed to go to like 4 o'clock, and I got up there around 3 o'clock, and they had run out, but Brian had saved, he met me in the parking lot, he saved me some plates, and I appreciate it. But I did a quick interview on how everything went on Friday, on that show, from the show to the thing. So watch this video real quick. Now folks, we up here at the Vernon High School parking lot on Saturday afternoon. Not a lot of people out here today, but we had a good turnout. I just drove in and they were nice enough to save me a couple plates. Hey guys, tell us what happened.
Coach, Vic here went and picked up 100 pounds of shrimp, and we got about 500 clamshell containers and corn and potatoes and sausage, and we're worried what we'd do with all the plates and extras, and we're discussing freezing and making gumbo, but in about 3 hours we sold out nearly 500 plates of shrimp. Yes, sir.
All right, and Barry, you just drove up from Lynn Haven?
From over in Panama City.
And what happened to you?
Well, I tell you what, if I wasn't bringing some food home, my wife wouldn't let me in the door. So I'm going up to Vernon and get us some low country boil. Well, I sure appreciate it.
All right.
We're truly blessed, sir. Yes, sir. Be the best you've had.
Appreciate you too.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. I know y'all still got a lot of work to do.
Hey, we fixing to kick in phase 2, which is light a bonfire and listen to some great music from some local talent.
All right. You gonna be working?
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
All right. All right. Good people doing good things for other folks. That's really good. I'm glad all of y'all participated. They sold out and had a great time, and that was delicious shrimp boil. Man, I really enjoyed that, and passed out some plates to some friends. So now let's move on. I was looking here. This is the Calhoun Liberty Journal. We talked about it before. On occasion, I show you different stories. This whole page, the whole front page on the last issue, is all outdoor stuff. It's fascinating, and I love it. And the back page here has got the bears on it. But anyway, I got to reading this, and it's really good because you see the headline: Bear steals hunter's 10-point kill near a tree stand. This was on Friday. That's Friday. And what happened? A 10-point buck. This Cal Hayes, age 33. Was hunting with a stepfather. I won't go into all the details. Basically, getting close to dark, he shot a 10-point and walked back to get his four-wheeler and all. It was gone about 15 minutes. When he came back, a deer was gone. A bear, it had to been about a 300-pound bear, had come up there and had taken that buck and dragged it off in the woods. And Cal said he found a path where it had been drugged, and it went several hundred yards. Finally got to it, and it just big chunk had been taken off the backside. You can see the picture there. A big chunk of meat had been taken off the backside, and then an article next to it. And anyway, they got the deer back, but it was you know, you got to be, you know, that's why you always have a pistol on your side when you're trailing, getting at nighttime in the woods. You got to be protected. I'm telling you, not just from bears and all kind of stuff out there, but FWC also. There's an article here about they released 3 bears this past year in Apalachicola National Forest near Sumatra problem bears. Also, they euthanized 85 bears this year. I didn't see anybody protesting that, but they euthanized 85 bears in Florida for the year 2015. Next door down here, real quick, Calhoun County 2-year-old recovering from a coral snake bite. Now again, you know, this time of year, in 1st of December, last of November, snakes are still out there. The little 2-year-old was playing with his truck and all, and the mom heard him scream and went and saw the snake, and she did something really smart. The dog came up and attacked the snake and killed the snake. She put the snake, called 911, put the snake in a plastic bag, met the ambulance over there on Highway 231, came here to Gulf Coast. They looked at the little boy, and they life flighted him to Gainesville to Shands, and mom and the dad drove down. The mom and little boy went to Gainesville. He's doing okay now, but she did a great thing by being able to identify it. They didn't have venom here in this area. They had to go all the way to Gainesville. So and also the dog got bit, but the dog's doing good too. So the dog made it, and the little boy made it, and everybody's happy. But outdoors, you know, you just never know. They're in the backyard playing, and those snakes, it's about a foot long coral snake, and they can be deadly. So a good job, Mom, on taking care of all that, and good information there from the Calhoun Liberty Journal. Appreciate them putting out all kind of real life stories. I really enjoy reading that. Okay, gonna wrap it up for today. I got some more stuff. I just didn't get around to it. I will pick it up tomorrow. You got any kind of text or emails to send me? By the way, I've lost a lot of my emails back to 2012. 2012 emails are popping up. Send me an email lately. Please send it again. I've lost them somehow. That's technology, but can't find them. So gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Always do something good for your fellow man. You have a great day. God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.